Very good morning to one and all, and welcome to Vishnu IAS. Clear. So, in this particular lecture, we are going to see those questions which have appeared in geography prelims. Clear. So, we will be dividing the geography session and as well as we will be dividing the environment session, and we will see what are the aspects which have been covered in geography and what are the aspects we tend to cover earlier. So we will be trying up to see those particular aspects. Please do remember this particular thing. Clear. So like geography being one of the most important aspect, if you see from geography, agriculture and environment, total 29 to 30 questions have come in picture. So during the revision lectures, I said this particular statement to you, like 29 to 30 questions are minimum which generally tend to appear from geography, agriculture and environment. I am not making this agriculture section apart from geography and environment because they are involved in it. Clear. So there are certain questions which we can see, and I'll also share what are the important aspects and what are the important areas. Clear. So one such kind of question was like on the basis of geographical location. If you see Siachen Glacier, so it was in news because many government concerned people have visited this Siachen glaciers, showing the solidarity. Along with that, like when Kashmir was declared as union territory, Ladakh and Kashmir, then also this particular Siachen glacier has come into picture. So this Siachen glacier is one of the most important aspects which you have to every time remember, because it is the highest elevated battlefield of the world itself. So there was compulsory a guess sum or the other thing or the other geographical location would be asked from the Kashmir region. So in that concern, Siachen glacier has been asked. If you see the Indian map, clear, of the Kashmir and Ladakh region, here you would be finding Aksai Chin region onto the most northeastern corner of Jammu Kashmir. So this is Aksai Chin region, and if you see here you would be having Leh. Clear. And here somewhere in this region you would be having Gilgit. Clear. And here in the Kashmir region you will be having the Nubra Valley, and our Siachen glacier is located at this particular location. This is the point where we have Siachen glacier. Are you getting this point? Clear. In this particular regard, if you see east of Aksai Chin, so as if this is Aksai Chin, then east of this would be this particular margin. So absolutely this would be a blunder. East of Leh, if you could know the locations of Leh and Aksai Chin, then you can easily answer this particular question. This is the Leh margin, and east to it also has the same location. North of Gilgit, if you see this particular Gilgit portion you would have in this particular junction, north of it will result into entry into the Chinese territory. So north of Nubra Valley, you have Nubra Valley in Kashmir region. So north of that, if you check, you would be finding this Siachen glacier, and Siachen glacier is customized to Karakoram mountain ranges. Whenever you would be reading Karakoram mountain ranges, you will experience within the Karakoram ranges we are having this particular Siachen glacier. So this is somewhat a direct question itself. People should not miss, especially those who have prepared perfectly for this particular examination. They should not even miss these kind of questions. So answer would be north of Nubra Valley. Clear. People who have given this particular statement of north of Nubra Valley, absolutely it is true. So while we were discussing, clear, I have discussed, this is my personal notes which whenever I go to various institutes, clear, I would be giving this particular notes to those particular aspirants. If you see, I have given this statement in my particular notes, like 75 kilometer long Siachen glacier in the Nubra Valley is one of the largest glacier outside the polar and subpolar region. So generally by calculating it from the direct notes, clear, many people have misconcept that like these kind of factual informations are not asked in the examination, but you have to focus upon these because they are highly important. Any kind of question might come from these particular sessions. Clear. So this particular glacier, it would be in this particular Karakoram range. Clear. So wherever I teach, wherever I go all over the India, I'll be giving these particular statements and these particular notes would be provided. So this is a direct kind of question from the notes itself. Clear? So consider the following statements. These kind of questions would be a bit tricky in nature. Clear? So jet streams occur in northern hemisphere only. Many people have not at all focused upon what actually is a jet stream. They don't know what jet stream actually is, because many people, except people who have geography as optional, they don't never consider related with jet stream, or they never read it. They just read that subtropical westerly jet, it would have the influence on Indian climate, and that would be bringing the western disturbances to India, and also it would be creating pre-monsoon showers. Leaving those particular statements, people generally don't concentrate on these jet streams. So assuming that many of them have not concentrated, keeping this in hold manner, you can see the rest of the options. So if you could calculate the rest of the options, the answer becomes very easy for you. Only some cyclones develop an eye. Clear? Generally we would be having two types of cyclones. One is tropical cyclone, one is temperate cyclone. So in general, eye is only present within the tropical cyclone. Within the temperate cyclone, we won't find any kind of eye-like structure. Eye is nothing but the center of the tropical cyclone, where we would not find any kind of cloud formation, because within this eye region we would be having extensive low pressure conditions. That extensive low pressure conditions, after lifting upwards, the air masses after lifting upwards, they tend to diverge away from the eye portion. So whenever you see a tropical cyclone, at the central portion you would be finding some vacuum like structure. Hence this is absolutely true statement. So those options are directly eliminated, like 1 and 1, 3, because 2 option is not present in that. So 1, 1 and 3 are directly eliminated. Clear? So if you see, the temperature inside the eye of tropical cyclone is nearly 10 degrees centigrade lesser than that of surroundings. If the temperature is less at the eye, then low pressure is not formed at the eye. Intense low pressure conditions are formed at the eye. If you could guess this statement, it is true. If you could not guess this statement, then it becomes somewhat tricky for you. Clear? Either you have to know option number 1 or you have to know option number 3. So if you just give a guess, like when cyclone would be happening, here we would be having low pressure condition. It means maximum temperature results into low pressure condition. Temperature is inversely proportional to pressure. So in these conditions, whenever you check out, this statement also becomes wrong. So 1 and 2 are not at all there in the option. So 1 also becomes obviously false. Hence 2 only becomes the perfect option for you. Are you getting this? So in this way, just by logical thinking, at least out of 3, if you could make out 1 or 2 statements, you can drag a logical answer and you can easily click out through this. Clear? If you see, as I have said, related with the jet streams, so whenever I used to discuss about jet streams, I used to draw this particular diagram for you. So this diagram represents like subtropical westerly jet in both the hemispheres, polar jet in both the hemispheres. So I used to discuss that we used to have 4 permanent jet streams and we used to have 3 temporary jet streams. 4 temporary jet streams include subtropical westerly jet in both the hemispheres, polar front jet in both the hemispheres, and 3 temporary jets include tropical easterly jet, which would form because of heating up of Tibetan plateau, and Somali jet stream and polar night jet. So these jet streams concept we have discussed in very detailed. Wherever I would be going, I'll be discussing this jet stream. You will not find even a single point out of this statement that has come out of my notes or out of my particular aspect. So this is highly important for you. Clear? See, I am not claiming every question. I'll be claiming only those things which I would be discussing upon. Clear? Here if you could see this statement, the center of the tropical cyclone is known as the eye. The wind is calm at the center with no rainfall. It means no cloud formation would happen and the temperature is very high at this particular eye margin. Clear? The next question comes. See, this kind of description questions, it has become a habit for UPSC to be giving. The crop is subtropical in nature. So when it would become subtropical, Clear. A hard frost is injurious to health. It requires at least 210 frost free days. By just seeing this particular statement of 210 frost free days, clear, you can just easily guess the option, but we will also read the entire question. And 50 to 100 centimeter rainfall. So with this we can fix it up. Because like jute requires huge amount of rainfall. Sugarcane also requires huge amount of rainfall. Tea also requires huge amount of rainfall. Tea requires somewhere around 150 to 200 centimeter. Jute somewhere around 150 centimeter. Sugarcane 100 to 150 centimeter. So within somewhat dryland topographies in and around black soil, it is cotton which can be grown within the range of 15 to 100 centimeters, and it should have frost free days. Clear. 210 frost free days. A light, well-drained soil capable of retaining moisture is ideally suited for cultivation of crop. So for this particular crop which has high wet holding capacity, it is the black soil. Clear, which is very much perfect for this particular soil. Hence, cotton is a direct answer. Many people, they tend to think in much deeper way. That is not an essential itself, because whenever we discuss for the conditions of growth of the cotton, if you see 50 to 100 centimeter of light rainfall or bit amount of irrigation and 210 frost free days and bright sunshine for its growth are very much important. So this is also a direct question. No need to dig much into it. If you see the soil, deep black soil which would be having high wet holding capacity would be very much important for this particular soil, for this particular crop. Clear? So this is also somewhat a direct question. Done. No need to go and dig into deeper. This bit becomes complicated. Clear? So we haven't discussed this in the class, but while I was explaining the monsoon earlier, I have explained regarding with the ocean mean temperature. The monsoon which generally tends to come over towards India, it should have certain particular temperature conditions within the Indian Ocean. Then only low pressure conditions tends to shift. Then only we could be having these particular conditions. This directly I haven't discussed in the class, but in an indirect way we can go upon through it. So this question I am not claiming that I have discussed in the class. This is a question which is out of my range also, but somewhat with a logical approach we can solve this question. Oceanic mean temperature is measured up to a depth of 26 degrees centigrade isotherm. Okay, like it might happen, which is 129 meters. See, this particular option is looking very odd out of this. Whenever we do reasoning in the CSAT, we tend to pick the odd one out, right? So in this particular question, this particular statement and 129 meter, never ever I have heard about this 129 meter. Rather, you might have heard about this 129 meter in the southwestern Indian Ocean during January to March. Rest of the entire statement might be right. Even I don't know what exactly is the temperature which would be calculated for the oceanic mean temperature during January to March. But in this particular regard, I felt like this particular statement, as it is odd in nature, so statement 1 however becomes false. UPSC gives such kind of hint for you. So you have to calculate it. And the next option is difficult to understand and calculate. Oceanic mean temperature collected during January-March can be used in assessing whether the amount of rainfall in monsoon will be less or more than a certain long-term mean temperature. Yes, this statement is logical because generally monsoon arrives into India. They enter into so-called Andaman Nicobar Islands in the last week of May itself. They enter from the Kerala, Karnataka, Goa side in the first week of June. So during these particular aspects, what happens is the temperature conditions which generally prevail on Indian Ocean during this particular season of January to March, they tend to generate certain low pressure conditions over there, which will make the monsoon to assess and move further. So by exactly oceanic mean temperature development within the Indian Ocean, we can calculate what amount of the monsoon. Indian Meteorological Department, on the basis of ocean mean temperature itself, they would be giving the monsoonal aspects. The amount of monsoon dependency would be having correlation with this oceanic mean temperature. So this is not a direct question which generally I have dealt in the class, But generally, whenever we discuss about important features, we say that sudden onset, gradual progress, gradual retreat, seasonal reversal of winds. So whenever we discuss about these particular aspects, we say that this monsoonal winds, which they generally tend to move further, that depends upon the temperatures which are present within the Indian Ocean. Because if the Indian oceanic temperatures are less, then high pressure conditions would be developed, then it becomes very much difficult for the monsoon to move upon. Clear? So this is an indirect question which might be approached through a logical statement. And with reference to chemical fertilizers in India, consider the following statements. So in general, this is also somewhat contemporary and an indirect question which we can derive. So at present, if you see, the retail price of chemical fertilizers is market driven and not administered by the government. This is absolutely false, because if you see, many governments under the e-credit facilities which they are giving, the credit facility conditions which this government is giving, they are giving for the buying of these chemical fertilizers, they are giving it for the buying of seeds, high yielding varieties to the farmers, right? So it is not a market driven. Chemical fertilizers doesn't have any ignorance, any capitalization with the market driven, rather they are administered by the government itself. Clear? So this statement is directly false. You can see, when government has announced the credit facility schemes, they mentioned it 100% that yes, chemical fertilizers which are present, they are in this particular notion. So if you could see, you could delete A and D option directly. And the next, ammonia, which is the input of urea, is produced from the natural gas. This is a basic common sense. Clear? So while we discuss about different urea products which are used in the agricultural aspects, so obviously the ammonia portion, it is produced from the natural gas. And sulfur, which is the raw material, option 2 is right, we have to check out 3. Sulfur, which is raw material for phosphoric and acid fertilizer, is byproduct of oil refineries. Absolutely, this is also true. So while we discuss about different oil refineries around the world, just it is not its location factors which we have to discuss. We have to discuss the inputs, we have to discuss the outputs. So oil refineries, whenever we discuss about the industries, we have to see the byproducts and we have to see the outcome of these particular refineries as well. So in this consideration, this is also a logical approach question, where through indirect knowledge we can gain this particular option. Clear? Now this can be discussed directly, and while discussing different crops, we tend to discuss this. Black gram can be cultivated both as Kharif and Rabi crop. Yes, this is absolutely true. In many of the books, it has just been given as Kharif, but this is not true. It can also be grown in Rabi season. It is absolutely true. It can be cultivated both as Kharif and Rabi crop. And if you see green gram, second statement is true. Wherever you don't have one as option, you can eliminate this directly. So if you see, green gram alone accounts for nearly half of the pulse production. See, green gram, if it is accounting for more than near half of the pulse production, then it doesn't suit well. Clear? It is a logical thing. Green gram accounts somewhere between 8 to 10%. It varies in this particular range itself. If you might have gone through India yearbook, or if you might have gone through economic survey of the agricultural part, you will know this particular point. Not going into that deeper, just in India yearbook it has been given 8 to 10% of pulse production accounts for the green gram. So this particular statement is false. Clear? If you say alone accounts for half of pulse production, no. In the last 3 decades, while the pulse production of Kharif pulses has increased, the production of Rabi pulses has decreased. No, both have been contributing with an equal sense. Clear? So one particular option would be only given statement, and if you don't know the 3 option also, as a 2 is present in D, you can eliminate 1, 2, 3, 2 and B and 3. Clear? 2 and 3. So 1 would be left out. Without having knowledge on 3, you can calculate this particular option. Clear? So while discussing pulses, we would be discussing about the factual information of different pulses, and we have discussed even like what are the different pulses which would be growing. Clear? So obviously this particular pulses question Anaitha, so it has appeared in the examination. Clear. So whenever we discuss different grams, we discuss it like it is a rabi crop as well. Done. So with reference to the trends in cultivation of sugarcane in India, clear. So it is somewhat a logic based question, not a direct question. If you see, a substantial saving in seed material is when bud chip seedlings are raised in a nursery and transplanted in the main field. Generally, this is a new technique which is followed in the field of sugarcane. So this is somewhat a bit amount of current affair, clear, under the agricultural portion. So this bud chip seedlings are raised in nursery. Yes, this is true. Generally, different multiple chip settings have to like dual multiple budded sets have to be present, have to be done in the sugarcane cultivation, but that did not happen later on when this bud chip settlings technique has come into picture, where they would be growing in nursery, then later on they would be transplanted in field. So this is completely a current affair question. This is absolutely true. And the next option, if you see, like you can eliminate those options where one is not present. So if you see, like when direct like we have to check out 1 and 4, 1 and 2, 1 and 4. When direct planting of sets is done, the germination percentage is better with single budded. No, this is absolutely not true. Like whenever we do direct planting of sets जो भी करेंगे, like whenever we would be doing, rather than that, this bud chip settlings would be very much perfect. So hence this option is absolutely false, and rest option is 4. However, 3 becomes very much because we don't have 3 in this particular option, so 4 becomes the perfect. And 3 also, if you want to read, if bad weather conditions prevail when sets are directly planted, single budded sets have better survival as compared to larger sets. This is also wrong. So this completely bud chip settlings technique was in use, I think so, like during in the month of January or February, I saw this in particular newspaper about bud chip settling. So directly they have lifted the question from that particular aspect. Clear. So while reading up with sugarcane, it is not only the conditions which you would be reading, you should also required with the recent techniques which have been developed. So unless and until you follow this contemporary aspect, you can't solve those kind of questions. Clear. So zero tillage, this is one of the most important aspects in the field of agriculture. Clear. So sowing of wheat is possible without burning the residue of previous crop. This is wheat. Clear. This is absolutely true. Clear. Sowing of wheat can be possible, which generally happens in this particular Punjab and Haryana regions during the Rabi crop. So they don't have much amount of time, so they can crop it zero tillage aspect mein. So without the need for nursery of rice saplings, direct planting of paddy seeds in the wet soil is possible. Yes, this is also possible. Carbon sequestration in the soil is possible. Yes, this is also possible. Clear. So zero tillage concept has to be very much clear for you. Unless you know zero tillage concept, there is no meaning of at least guessing this question. You can't make the 3 options right with your particular knowledge. 1 and 2 dikhega, nahi to 2 and 3. So these options tend to confuse. Either you move away from this question, or if you know regarding with zero tillage, directly the option would be 1, 2, 3. Unless and until you know nothing regarding with zero tillage, you should not take any risk related with it. So one more question which has appeared on the basis of map, like obviously if you see, like on the basis of good amount of knowledge within the map, we can examine this. Mekong River, if you see, it doesn't flow in Andaman Sea. Clear. So Mekong River, it tends to join near to the South China Sea region. South China Sea. As South China Sea was in use, hence this Mekong River has come into picture. So one has eliminate D and A. Now either 3 and 4. So 2 also becomes absolutely false in this section. Just 1 minute. So like if you see, one option is absolutely true. So 1 if it is eliminated, A and D eliminated, then B, that means 3 and 4 में check करना है. वैसे 2 is absolutely wrong. Thames River enters into the North Sea. If you go and see the UK map, clear. So Volga River, obviously it is moving into Caspian Sea. It is as perfectly as true. Volga River, it is moving into Caspian Sea, no doubt in it at all. Zambezi River, which is one of the largest river of this South African countries. So So that generally tends to flow in Indian Ocean. This is also true. If you see the map based work, you can see it directly. Next, this is also one question which has appeared in the news regarding with the fertigation of agriculture. So fertigation of agriculture is nothing but introducing the fertilizers into the plants, which can control, if you could see, like it can control the salinity of irrigation water. It is possible with this fertigation of soil, so that the water wouldn't become saline when the fertilizers enter into the soil, rather fertilizer enters directly into the plant. So with this salinity of the irrigation water is possible, we can control it very effectively. So one is absolutely true. So efficient application of rock phosphate and other phosphatic fertilizers is possible. This is absolutely false. Increased availability of nutrients to the plants is possible. Yes, absolutely. When soil is having very less amount of salinity and much amount of nutrient facility, then plants can intake the nutrients very effectively. So 1 and 3 are absolutely true and 2 is false. So when 2 is false, directly you can eliminate this 3. Directly you can go with 1, 3, 4, but reduction in leaching of chemical nutrients is possible. This is also true. So when you could eliminate 2, directly you could eliminate 3 options. 1, 3, 4 becomes the perfect answer. So these are somewhat 8 to 9 questions which appeared exclusively from geography and agriculture. As everyone know, environment plays a crucial role in prelims. Environment, geography, agriculture combines together to get 30 questions in it. So same pattern of 29 to 30 questions have appeared. In the next lecture, I will be discussing up with those environment questions for you. Which have appeared, but they are not directly environment, they are mixed with current affairs, and some environmental questions are mixed with geography. So I have put them in the environment category itself. Like they have asked with the desert national park, like they have said that it is present in 2 districts. So in such a kind, geography mixed with environment questions have been asked, that we will be discussing in the next session for you. Clear? So thank you for watching this lesson. Have an awesome day. Hope this lecture has helped. Please subscribe to Vishnu IAS channel so that you will be getting continuous notifications. If you want anything from us, you can comment it. We will be checking out in the comment section and we will be coming back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this. Have an awesome day. Jai Hind.